Some lands do not belong to history. History belongs to them. On one side, glass towers reflect the blinding sun. On the other, moss-draped walls hold 1,000 years of prayer. Israel and Gaza. 2 names, 2 worlds. Yet they share a single geological pulse, the exact same ocean breath, and the same raw hunger to exist. For the next hour, forget the headlines. Listen to the land speak for itself. Through the language of stone of water and of shadows stretching beneath the setting sun. Jerusalem. There is a city where you can walk through thousands of years of human history in just a matter of minutes. Jerusalem. Here the narrow sun-bleached stone streets weave together like an ancient, deliberate labyrinth. Every sharp turn and shadowed, wind-swept alleyway leads you directly into the heavy breath of another forgotten century. The limestone beneath your boots has been smoothed by the physical friction of endless generations. People travel across the entire globe to these specific coordinates just to pray, to wander the cramped markets, or simply to stand perfectly still and absorb a heavy, unnameable feeling radiating up from the pavement. It is a profound and almost suffocating compression of time and space. Within the borders of one incredibly dense walled neighborhood, the city fractures into 4 distinct quarters. Jewish, Muslim, Christian, and Armenian communities live pressed tightly against one another in a balance. On paper, it sounds simple, but on the ground, the physical borders blur in a dense tangle of overlapping history and shared architecture. Nowhere is this profound overlap more visible than the elevated plateau of the Temple Mount. It is not a contested piece of real estate. It is a single expanse of bedrock forced to bear the ultimate weight of human devotion. Here, 3 distinct paths to the divine are anchored into the exact same limestone foundation. For Judaism, the physical memory of the ancient Holy Temple remains irreversibly tied to the earth beneath your feet. For Islam, the golden dome of the rock catches the harsh desert sun, casting long shadows towards the revered pillars of the Al-Aqsa Mosque. For Christianity, the very dust of the courtyard is woven into the genesis of its existence. It is deeply humbling to stand on this one specific patch of earth. Instead of the suffocating tension of headlines, what you actually feel is a profound, echoing stillness. It is the quiet realization that across thousands of years, millions of people with different languages and different prayers have all stood on this exact same stone, looking up at the exact same sky, searching for the exact same light. Just below this elevated plateau stands the Western Wall. It is not a sprawling, ornate palace, but rather a massive retaining wall of exposed stone. Yet it is the holiest site where Jews can legally pray. Millions come to press their hands against the cold rock, sliding tightly folded pieces of paper containing their most desperate wishes deep into the crevices between the heavy blocks. Not far from there, the Via Dolorosa winds blindly through the crowded markets. This is the path of suffering, the exact route Jesus is believed to have walked before his crucifixion. Today, modern travelers tread the exact same worn cobblestones, layering their footsteps over history. The winding path eventually leads to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. But the sprawling church itself is a staggering monument to human division. 6 different Christian sects fiercely guard their designated territories within its walls. The tension is so historically rigid that absolutely nothing can be altered without unanimous consent. A simple wooden ladder placed on an upper stone ledge centuries ago remains frozen in place today because no one can agree on who actually holds the authority to move it. The psychological weight of this specific environment is so overwhelming that it actually produces a documented medical condition known as Jerusalem syndrome. Ordinary tourists arrive and suddenly suffer profound delusions, genuinely believing they are ancient biblical figures or prophets. It is a startling testament to how deeply these stones can fracture the modern human mind. Here, deep religious prayer, heavily armed military patrols, and casual tourism all exist simultaneously in the exact same narrow alleys. This tiny speck of land has been conquered, destroyed, and rebuilt over 40 times. It forces the outsider to ask why such a small outpost demands so much blood. It is the vivid feeling of the deep past and the relentless present reaching out and quietly touching each other in the dust. Dead Sea. If the ancient stones of Jerusalem are saturated with the endless noise of human history, you only have to travel a short distance eastward to find a place where the earth simply swallows sound entirely. Descending more than 1,000 feet below sea level, the air itself begins to change. It grows noticeably thicker, holding a heavy, unseen atmospheric pressure that feels completely disconnected from the world above. This is the lowest point on dry land. The Dead Sea. Here the landscape stops feeling like Earth and begins to closely resemble the stark, silent surface of an alien world. The shoreline is entirely crusted in brilliant white salt, forming jagged snow-like crystals and strange coral-shaped deposits that crunch sharply beneath every passing footstep. It is a mesmerizing but deeply unforgiving environment. The name of this place is not a poetic exaggeration. The water holds a mineral concentration so extreme, nearly 10 times saltier than any normal ocean, that conventional biology simply cannot survive. There are no fish darting through the shallows, no marine plants swaying in the hidden currents. It is a vast, silent basin of pure, concentrated chemistry. Yet within this absolute void of life, there is an unexpected and profound sense of healing. Stepping into the heavy metallic blue water reveals that the basic rules of gravity have been altered. Sinking is practically impossible. The sheer physical density of the liquid pushes a human body effortlessly right to the surface, acting like an invisible cushion. You can simply lay back and read an open book, drifting peacefully under the intense desert sun without making a single physical effort to stay afloat. Just beneath this highly buoyant water lies a thick layer of rich, dark mud. For centuries, travelers have arrived to cover their bare skin in this mineral-dense earth, baking in the relentless heat before quietly washing it away. It is nature's most surreal sanctuary, a place where life is impossible, yet you are completely held, entirely weightless, and perfectly suspended in time. Masada Fortress. Rising abruptly from the barren, sun-scorched floor of the Judean desert, casting a long, heavy shadow over the lifeless waters of the Dead Sea below, stands a mountain that demands absolute silence. This is Masada. It is an isolated rock plateau, a massive natural fortress carved by wind and geological time, reaching hundreds of meters into the blazing sky. But the true legacy of this towering monolith does not lie in the elaborate ruins of the royal palaces that still cling to its edges, nor in the ingenious ancient cisterns that once captured rare desert rain. The immense weight of this place comes from a staggering final chapter of human defiance. Nearly 2 millennia ago, a small, desperate group of rebels retreated to this remote summit, making their absolute last stand against the crushing methodical might of the Roman Empire. They watched from above as massive siege camps were slowly constructed in the dust below, knowing that escape was a physical impossibility. When the wooden battering rams finally breached the stone walls and the reality of capture became unavoidable, the families trapped on the plateau made an unimaginable choice. They chose the absolute finality of death over the brutal degradation of Roman enslavement. Today, walking among the pale, crumbled stones of the fortress feels like wandering through a fossilized testament to human will. The relentless desert wind howls violently through the ruined archways, sounding almost like an eternal echo of that silent, tragic night. When you stand at the sheer vertical edge of the cliff, looking out over the vast, shimmering expanse of the salt-crusted basin, far below the terrifying scale of their isolation becomes intensely real. It is an incredibly harsh, unforgiving environment where survival required immense grit and where the ultimate sacrifice was permanently etched into the bedrock. Masada is not merely a dormant archaeological site waiting to be photographed. It is a stark, haunting reminder that in the face of inevitable destruction, the most profound form of resistance is sometimes found in the uncompromising refusal to yield. Ein Gedi oasis. Just steps away from the heavy, lifeless shores of the Dead Sea, the towering Judean cliffs split open to reveal an impossible paradox. Ein Gedi. In a landscape defined entirely by scorching heat and suffocating salt this ancient oasis erupts from the barren rock like a fierce, sudden rebellion of life. Hidden deep within the narrow, sun-baked canyons, fresh water relentlessly cuts through the pale limestone. Cascading waterfalls plunge into cool emerald green pools, sending a delicate, life-giving mist into the dry desert air. The sheer visual contrast is staggering. Lush canopies of acacia and date palms cling to the steep ravines, casting deep, cooling shadows over the damp, fertile earth. It is a biological miracle hiding in plain sight. For thousands of years, these hidden springs have served as a vital sanctuary. Ancient kings, weary nomads, and fleeing outcasts all sought refuge in these exact same ravines, desperate for the rare and fragile taste of sweet water. Today, the canyon remains a quiet, thriving haven. Wild Nubian ibex effortlessly scale the near vertical cliffs, while rock hyraxes bask motionless on the warm boulders, completely undisturbed by the passing centuries. You can stand at the edge of a rushing stream, feeling the cold spray against your skin, while looking out over the stark, barren expanse of the salt lake resting far below. It is a profound intersection of extremes, a vibrant, untamed pocket of survival, tucked safely into the heart of an otherwise unforgiving wasteland. Makhtesh Ramon. Leaving the dense mineral-heavy waters of the lowest point on Earth, the road climbs southward into an entirely different kind of void. Deep within the searing expanse of the Negev desert, the arid ground suddenly falls away, without warning, revealing a colossal heart-shaped scar, carved directly into the surface of the planet. This is Makhtesh Ramon. At first glance, the sheer physical scale of the landscape looks like the violent aftermath of a massive asteroid strike a jagged and endless crater stretching far beyond the visible horizon. But this immense depression was not forged by a catastrophic impact from the stars. It was slowly, silently hollowed out from the inside by millions of years of relentless water and wind erosion, creating a rare geological anomaly found almost nowhere else in the world. Standing at the precipice of the towering cliff, the magnitude of the emptiness is breathtaking. The basin floor plunges hundreds of meters below, painting the dry terrain in vivid shifting streaks, of rusted red sandstone, dark volcanic basalt, and pale yellow clay. As the harsh afternoon sun arcs across the sky, deep shadows stretch over the bizarre rock formations, constantly changing the visual rhythm of the desert. The silence here is immense and heavy, interrupted only by the dry wind sweeping across the canyon, or the sudden delicate sound of a wild ibex navigating the razor-sharp ridges with impossible grace. When you stare down into the depths of this vast natural amphitheater, the frantic noise of the modern world completely evaporates. There are no ancient temples to explore, no religious borders to cross, and no human conflicts etched into the stone walls. As daylight fades, the remote crater transforms into a pristine dark sky reserve, offering an unobstructed glowing window into the universe. There is only the raw, exposed architecture of the earth, resting peacefully beneath an ocean of stars. It is a stunning, sun-bleached wilderness that serves as a quiet reminder of how much time and patience it takes for nature to carve a masterpiece out of solid rock. Red Sea. Journeying further south, the relentless, arid expanse of the Negev desert suddenly collapses into a striking, vivid expanse of sapphire blue. The Red Sea, here at the southernmost edge of the land, the sun-baked, jagged mountains plunge directly into the crystalline waters of the Gulf of Aqaba. It is a stunning visual paradox, a vibrant, thriving ocean entirely enclosed by barren, unforgiving rock. Unlike the heavy, lifeless silence of the Dead Sea, this aquatic realm pulses with a frantic, biological rhythm. Just inches below the tranquil surface lies one of the most intricately woven marine ecosystems on the planet. Brilliant, towering coral reefs drop off abruptly into deep indigo abysses, teeming with a chaotic kaleidoscope of tropical life. Millions of brightly colored fish dart through the warm currents, navigating a submerged architecture that is as complex and delicate as any ancient terrestrial city. Above the water, this narrow gulf forms a tight geopolitical intersection where four distinct nations stand closely shoulder to shoulder, their coastal lights mingling in the night sky. Yet the moment you slip beneath the gentle waves, all human boundaries instantly dissolve. The rigid political lines drawn so carefully across maps simply vanish into the quiet, weightless blue. There are no territories to defend here, only the constant, ancient motion of the tides. It is a breathtaking sanctuary of pure survival, a hidden world of explosive color, blooming quietly at the very edge of the scorching earth. Beit She'an. Moving northward into the fertile expanse of the Jordan Valley, the landscape reveals the fragile arrogance of human ambition. Beit She'an. This is not just a scattered collection of weathered stones. It is the frozen, sun-bleached skeleton of a colossal Roman metropolis. Grand colonnaded streets paved with massive basalt slabs stretch outward, tracing the strict geometric grid of an empire that once believed it had conquered time itself. The staggering scale of the architecture, towering bathhouses, intricate mosaics, and an immense stone amphitheater, was designed to project absolute unbroken power across the region. But eternity is entirely dictated by the earth beneath it. In the deep winter of the 8th century, a violent tectonic shift suddenly fractured the valley floor. In a matter of mere seconds, a catastrophic earthquake erased centuries of meticulous human engineering. Today, dozens of massive stone pillars lie scattered across the ancient pavement, resting exactly where they slammed into the dirt over a millennium ago, snapped and toppled like fragile pieces of chalk. When you walk down the silent length of the ancient corridor, dwarfed by the sheer weight of the ruined columns, the atmosphere is deeply haunting. There is no modern city built on top of these ruins, no overlapping layers of modern religious conflict to navigate. It is simply a vast, open-air graveyard of imperial glory. The fallen stones of Beit She'an rest in profound silence, quietly proving that no matter how magnificent a civilization may be, the sudden shifting of the earth will always possess the final word. Basilica of the Annunciation. Sometimes the absolute heaviest moments in human history begin with nothing more than a quiet whisper in the dark. Deep within the crowded, twisting streets of modern Nazareth rises the Basilica of the Annunciation, a monumental structure built to honor an impossibly intimate event. The architecture itself is a striking physical paradox. From the outside, the massive concrete dome dominates the skyline, shaped like an enormous, inverted lily, heavily projecting the sheer global scale of the faith it represents. But this colossal modern sanctuary exists entirely to protect something incredibly fragile and small. Descending from the bright, echoing upper basilica into the sunken lower level, the atmosphere instantly compresses. The grand modern geometry gives way to raw, illuminated bedrock. Here, perfectly preserved in the dim, quiet light, are the rough, sunken remnants of a humble first-century dwelling. The Cave of the Annunciation. This enclosed subterranean grotto is revered as the exact physical coordinate where a solitary woman received a divine message that would fundamentally alter the trajectory of human civilization. The visual contrast is staggering. There is a profound silence down here, a heavy incense-laden stillness that starkly defies the magnificent towering cathedral built directly overhead. You can physically feel the immense tension between the raw vulnerability of ancient, unpolished stone and the towering weight of 2,000 years of relentless devotion. It is a powerful architectural reminder that the most monumental shifts in the world did not originate in the marble palaces of empires, but in the quiet, damp shadows of a simple rock cave. Hermon Stream Nature Reserve and Banias Waterfall. The Hermon Stream Nature Reserve is a lush emerald sanctuary where the air suddenly turns cool and the scent of damp earth replaces the dry dust of the desert. Here the Banias spring erupts from the foot of Mount Hermon, surging through thick thickets of plane trees and dense ferns. It is a place where nature feels ancient and untamed. Gray basalt cliffs stand in stark contrast to the vibrant greenery, while the ruins of a temple dedicated to the Greek god Pan remain carved directly into the rock face. This was a place of myth and mystery, long before modern borders were drawn, a rare pocket of the Middle East, where water is not a scarce commodity, but a relentless dominant force. Following the wooden walkways suspended over the rushing rapids, the sound of the stream deepens into a powerful roar. The path leads directly to the Banias Waterfall, the most impressive and voluminous cascade in the region. The water plunges 10 meters down a sheer volcanic cliff, crashing into a deep, churning pool with such ferocity that a constant veil of mist hangs in the air. Standing on the viewing platform, the spray feels like a cold, refreshing shock against the skin. The sheer energy of the falling water is mesmerizing, a raw display of the Earth's hydraulic power. In a land defined by arid plateaus and salt-crusted shores, this thundering waterfall serves as a vivid reminder of the life-giving force hidden within the northern mountains. Herodium. Rising from the edge of the Judean desert, like a perfect man-made volcano, Herodium is a haunting monument to the ego of a king. This was the fortress palace of Herod the Great, a ruler who refused to simply inhabit the landscape and instead chose to reshape it entirely. To build this massive circular stronghold, Herod commanded thousands of laborers to strip an adjacent hill and pile its earth onto a natural peak, creating a massive artificial cone that dominated the horizon. It is a staggering architectural paradox, a palace buried within a mountain, designed to be both a luxurious sanctuary and an impenetrable tomb. Walking through the excavated remains, the sheer scale of Herod's ambition is visible in every stone. Below the summit lies a complex of bathhouses with intricate mosaics, a grand theater for the elite, and a massive man-made pool that once served as a private lake in the middle of a wasteland. The air here is dry and carries the scent of sun-baked dust, but the architectural precision remains startling. Yet the most profound discovery is the tomb of Herod himself, a shattered mausoleum clinging to the hillside overlooking the desert he once sought to tame. When you stand on the high ramparts of the upper fortress, the view is immense. You can look out across the rolling pale hills toward the towers of Jerusalem, realizing that while the king is long gone, his mountain still stands as a defiant, permanent scar on the earth. Herodium is a quiet, winsome reminder that even the most powerful human will is ultimately just a brief moment in the long, patient history of the stone. Safed Blue City. High above the Galilee, perched on the windswept peaks of Mount Canaan, lies a city painted in the colors of the sky. Saved. Walking through the narrow, twisting cobblestone alleys of the old city, the atmosphere feels noticeably thinner, charged with an ethereal, quiet energy. Here the heavy limestone walls are washed in endless variations of vivid, luminous blue. According to local lore, this specific hue was chosen to mirror the heavens, a constant visual reminder to look upward and beyond the material world. Safed is the city of Kabbalah, a place where, for centuries, mystics and scholars have gathered to untangle the hidden secrets of the universe. The architecture reflects this spiritual intensity. Tiny centuries-old synagogues are tucked into hidden courtyards, their interiors glowing with candlelight and the soft hum of ancient chants. The air carries the scent of old parchment and jasmine, and the rhythm of life slows to a meditative pace. In the Artists' Quarter, the blue-shuttered galleries overflow with symbols of the soul, bridging the gap between art and divinity. Yet the true power of Saft is found in its stillness. From the high balconies of the city, you can look out across the rolling green hills toward the distant, hazy blue of the Sea of Galilee. It is a city that exists on the edge of the clouds, a serene cobalt-tinted sanctuary where the boundary between the earthly and the spiritual feels as thin and transparent as a veil of mountain mist. The Bahá'í Gardens. On the northern slopes of Mount Carmel, overlooking the blue expanse of Haifa Bay, the landscape shifts from the rugged textures of the desert into a vision of absolute mathematical symmetry. The Bahá'í Gardens. This is not merely a collection of flora. It is a symphony of order, peace, and human devotion. 19 perfectly manicured terraces cascade down the mountainside like a lush emerald staircase connecting the sea to the sky. At the very center sits the Shrine of the Bab, its golden dome shimmering like a second sun against the white stone of the city. The experience of walking through these gardens is one of profound intentional silence. Every hedge is trimmed with surgical precision. Every stone path is lined with crushed red tile that crunches softly underfoot, a sharp contrast to the vibrant green turf. Water trickles through stone channels in a rhythmic, melodic flow, drowning out the frantic noise of the modern city that surrounds the sanctuary. There are no cluttered stalls or ancient conflicts etched into these walls. Instead, there is a pervasive sense of unity and balance. As the path winds through rows of cypress trees and seasonal blooms, the view opens up to the Mediterranean, where the horizon dissolves into a seamless blue. It is a place where nature has been meticulously curated to reflect the harmony of the spirit. The Bahá'í Gardens stand as a quiet, blooming testament to the idea that beauty, when crafted with such immense patience and care, can serve as a bridge between the material world and the divine. Old City Jaffa. At the southern edge of Tel Aviv's modern skyline, the frantic pulse of the 21st century suddenly collides with the heavy salt-crusted stone of the ancient world. Old Jaffa. This is one of the oldest continuously inhabited port cities on the planet, a place where the limestone walls have been polished to a pale glow by thousands of years of sea spray and human history. Walking through the narrow, winding alleys of the old city feels like navigating the deep, dusty corridors of a collective memory. The streets here are not named. They are marked by the signs of the zodiac, a nod to the countless travelers, pilgrims, and sailors who have looked to the stars to guide them to this specific shore. The atmosphere in Old Jaffa is a dense, aromatic blend of jasmine, roasting coffee, and the sharp tang of the Mediterranean. Every archway and hidden courtyard feels like a portal to a different era. You can feel the weight of the Ottoman Empire in the limestone clock tower, the presence of the Crusaders in the fortress-like foundations, and the whispers of ancient Egyptian and Phoenician traders in the excavated ruins. It is a place where the air is thick with myth. It is said that Jonah set sail from this very spot before his encounter with the great fish, and that Andromeda was chained to the jagged rocks just offshore, awaiting rescue from the sea. Today, Jaffa is a vibrant intersection of cultures where the call to prayer from a stone minaret mingles with the ringing of church bells and the modern chatter of art galleries. The stone buildings with their heavy turquoise doors and flowering bougainvillea house creators who continue the city's long tradition of storytelling. As the sun begins to set, the pale yellow stone of the city catches the warm golden light, making the entire hill appear to float above the darkening sea. There is a profound sense of permanence here, a feeling that while the empires that once claimed Jaffa have vanished into the dust, the city itself remains an immovable anchor at the edge of the world. Just below the ancient city, the land breaks into the rugged embrace of Jaffa Port. This is the physical gateway through which the cedars of Lebanon pass to build Solomon's temple, and where millions of immigrants first touched the soil of their new home. Today, the port has traded the grandeur of ancient galleys for the quiet, rhythmic bobbing of small, primary-colored fishing boats. The water here moves with a heavy, sluggish grace, lapping against the weathered stone breakwater. It is a place of raw sensory reality. The smell of diesel, the cry of gulls, and the quiet resilience of a harbor that has refused to sink for 5,000 years. The Rimal area and Gaza port. Along the edge of the Mediterranean, the Gaza seaport stands as a weathered gateway to the world where the scent of salt air mingles with the grit of survival. It is a place of constant rhythmic motion, defined by the creak of wooden fishing boats and the heavy dragging of nets across the pier. Here the horizon is wide and blue, offering a rare, unobstructed sense of freedom that contrasts sharply with the rigid boundaries of the land behind it. A short distance from the shore lies Rimal, the vibrant cosmopolitan heartbeat of the city. Before the shadows of conflict deepened, these wide tree-lined avenues were the center of a different kind of life. Modern glass storefronts, bustling cafes, and elegant residential towers created a landscape of ambition and architectural grace. It was a place where the frantic energy of the markets softened into the hum of a Mediterranean evening. Walking through Rimal, you could feel the pulse of a society determined to build a future, even as the weight of history pressed in from all sides. It remains a profound symbol of the city's resilience, a neighborhood of light and movement holding on to its elegance, even when the world around it feels dangerously fragile. Mount Zion. Just outside the heavy stone ramparts of the old city lies Mount Zion, a high, wind-swept ridge, where the layers of human belief are stacked one on top of the other. It is a place of profound vertical history. On the lower level, within a dim vaulted chamber, lies the traditional tomb of King David. Here the air is thick with the scent of old books and the low rhythmic murmur of Hebrew prayers. Directly above it, in the same structure, is the cenacle, the upper room. Its Gothic arches and stark, empty space mark the site where the Last Supper is believed to have taken place. The atmosphere on Mount Zion is uniquely heavy, characterized by a quiet, shared gravity. To the side, the Dormition Abbey rises like a fortress of faith, its massive conical dome marking the spot where tradition holds that the Virgin Mary fell into eternal sleep. Walking across the worn paving stones, you feel the physical friction of centuries of pilgrimage. There are no clear borders here, only a dense, overlapping sanctuary, where the music of church bells frequently mingles with the distant call to prayer. It is a small patch of earth where the most pivotal stories of humanity do not just coexist, they share the same walls.